Welcome back to Lasco Ford. Today we're looking at the 2020 Ford Transit, and not just any Ford Transit, but the new all-wheel drive Transit. I have Emily Lorencz with me here today, one of our specialists on the Transit. We're just going to give you a nice brief overview and talk about some of the new features and options that are now available on the new 2020 Transit, and obviously this one in all-wheel drive.
Yeah, absolutely. We're super excited to have a all-wheel drive commercial vehicle for our customers. So first model year for this is going to be super popular. They're also going to offer a ton of new seating options in this vehicle moving forward. So I'm sure we'll do some videos on that in the future. The biggest thing with the Transit facelift and kind of upgrade for this model year is like efficiency, right? So they're talking about a new grille design. This grille design is really all about creating some airflow into the engine area so that these new powertrains that Ford's offering in the Transit this year are operating at the optimal temperature.
I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, so we were talking about the Super Duty, how it had that new front end. That was all based on cooling. Obviously the GT500 was based on cooling. That probably more for performance, but you know, talking about efficiency so we can save money. Why don't you let them know, we were just talking about the new transmission.
Yes, 10-speed transmission is going in every Transit now. There are going to be 3 engine offerings this year. This is the new 3.5 liter port fuel direct injection engine. It's very similar to what the 3.7 liter was, but it's better paired with the 10-speed transmission that they're offering this year. Then you'll also have the 3.5 EcoBoost available for more torque, more towing power, of course, and then late availability. I think in quarter 2 or 3 we'll see the new Eco Diesel, so more on that later for sure. But that'll give us definitely some more pulling power for this vehicle. And we're excited to see how that all breaks down. But 10-speed transmission is a big deal when you're hauling heavy loads like this, for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like they did a great job of just pairing up you know, that transmission and tweaking the engines to make that maximum efficiency. I mean, obviously really working hard to do that.
Yeah.
The other thing we were talking about is safety features. There's standard safety features, which is all new, and then some even additional safety features on top of that.
Yes, yes. New for 2020, Ford's offering the Co-Pilot Assist. It's standard at every level in 2020 Transits. So you're going to have, just reading my notes here, post-collision braking, pre-collision assist, auto engine braking, auto high beams, rain sensing windshield wipers, and lane keeping assist, all standard on a 2020 Transit, no matter what trim level you get. You can also add additional safety features, which you couldn't really do before. There were a couple things you could add, but now you can do the blind spot monitoring system, which you could before, that'll show up right here in your mirror. That'll cover you and a trailer behind you as well, and let you know if somebody's in that blind spot.
Oh, so Ben and I talked about that on the Super Duty, so this can also do the trailer blind spot.
I believe so.
Amazing.
I believe so. And then the adaptive cruise you'll be able to add, which is going to allow you to keep a safe, healthy distance between the guy in front of you on the expressway. That also ties into that auto braking, collision assist, the active park assist. That's a big thing on this Transit. Can you imagine parallel parking something this size?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
I can't.
I can't believe they have that feature actually working on something this
yes,
size. That's
so you can
incredible.
add it.
And I just think that as a whole, the safety features that they're bringing to a commercial vehicle, obviously the driver cares about that, but how about the business owner that's putting all of their employees, and it could be cargo, precious cargo, who knows, right?
Totally.
And, which includes employees, of course. They have peace of mind knowing that they get to use all those features, and they're out there on the road with at least maximum safety.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They're also including the Fordpass Connect, which is something that they've been offering on F-150s, and a lot of our line has it standard on everything now. They've introduced that as a standard feature on Transit now too. So business owners that have a fleet of these, they can activate that on their phone. They can see where their guys are in the field, and that's a really huge deal too. That's a free service. They can lock and unlock the vehicle right from their phone. and
That's
they'll
unbelievable.
offer that for free.
Do you have that? Can we show them really quick how that works?
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
All right, so we've opened up the app and we actually grabbed my phone, so we're staring at my Super Duty there. And why don't you just go over the features and kind of show them what we're staring at?
Sure. So up here on the top, you'll see where it says Jay's Plow Truck. Up there, you can add as many vehicles as you want to this app, which is where additional vehicles in your fleet would show up. So you could scroll through and swipe that from side to side and choose which vehicle you're looking at. You have the ability to name these vehicles whatever you'd like.
That's amazing. So they could call it just every single driver, or he could have van numbers or whatever it may be.
Whatever works.
That's
However is
awesome.
easy for you to identify. And then you have the lock and unlock features here. If you want to remote start the vehicle, you just hit this, hold it down. Once it grays everything out, it'll send a signal up to a satellite. Then it'll come back down and
I was
start
gonna say
the
we're
vehicle.
nowhere near the truck right now,
Right.
so give it a little run for its money. We're inside.
And it'll also show you, once it's started, it'll give you an alert that it's started.
I did have somebody share a story a little while ago. It's funny now that we're on this. They were talking about how they were out of state. Someone left something in a car. They had their phone. They unlocked their car. They got it out of the car and then locked it back up.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
You can totally do that.
Yeah.
There's no range that it's
Yeah.
that
I wonder
it's,
if my phone has bad signal. It's usually a lot faster than this. But hey,
Might be because we're inside too.
we're
with
testing
this
the waters here.
metal roof situation.
Yeah.
Well, I can move on too. I mean, it'll also give you updates on recall information, field service actions. It kind of gives you a breakdown of the weather, and there's different things that you can check out on here. Also notice that Jay's coming up on an oil change that he might need to get in
That's very
a few
important.
thousand miles here, which is really neat. And then if you go into vehicle details here, it'll also let you know how much fuel's in the vehicle.
Very
It'll
cool.
tell you where the vehicle's located. So this is really cool for these guys with fleets. He can look directly on a map and see where that vehicle's located.
Oh, I know that place. That's the best place to buy new Fords.
Absolutely, absolutely. Backing out of that screen, it shows you your tire pressure. Tells you also what's recommended for cold weather here, which is cool.
That is
your
very
oil
cool.
life monitor. There's a vehicle hotspot that you can activate in all these vehicles too. So if you've got guys on the road and they use a lot of data or whatever, that's kind of a cool thing that you could activate. It's free for 3 months. Or 3 gigs, whichever comes first. After that, I think it's a subscription through AT&T.
Very cool.
This is also neat too. So if you have your guys leaving at 8 o'clock every morning, you can have the vehicle already scheduled to be warmed up for them, so they can just hop in and
Someone
and
brought
go.
that up earlier, and I didn't even know it had that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you can do that by schedule, by date and time. It's really neat.
Unreal.
So that's kind of an overview. It'll give you a vehicle health report. If you think something's going on with the vehicle, you can run one and it might give you some more information there. If the vehicle gets into a collision, you've got collision assistance here, support for the vehicle. There's details in here, warranty details. If you have an extended service plan, it'll show up on there.
Wow.
Gives you an odometer reading. This is just a really cool app. And again, I want to remind you, this is free.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be free.
Unbelievable.
Which is really, really a cool
standard
thing.
on this 2020 Transit.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yep. Every 2020 Transit will have that.
Well, let's keep going around the vehicle a
Sure.
little bit. All right, so it looks like down here, got a nice fog light, obviously.
Yep. Redesigned.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then looking at, tell me about that wheel.
The forged aluminum wheel. It's a little heavier duty wheel that they used to offer only on a heavy duty Transit with the dual rear wheel is now
Yeah.
offered on the single rear wheel Transit, which is great.
That's awesome.
You also have this awesome extended length running board here, so
Massive
it covers
running board.
the front and that back door there.
Yeah, jumping in and out of it all day in a commercial environment. I
Yeah.
mean, that obviously could be very useful.
For sure.
All right, let's jump inside and take a look. I mean, the seats stand out.
Yeah,
that has to be
upgraded leather
that
seating.
has to be new leather. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
It didn't ever look this nice. This is really nice. Power
Stitched.
seat.
Yeah,
Heated
full
seats.
power seats on both sides. So that's part of that package on
Yeah.
both sides.
Yep, there's a leather upgrade package that you can get for the seats here.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
of course, we'll talk more about different seating options in a different video, but they're going to offer a bench seat in the front here. Also a crew van in the future. I think we're expecting one in a couple weeks that you'll have 3 seats behind this row.
That's huge, and we can open up the back in a minute, but that's something that people were doing aftermarket forever, and it was obviously expensive, and you had to have, source it out to somebody, and now they're going to offer that as an option. That's huge.
Yeah, that is huge. So you can see that they've got the new updated sync system here. So it's a bigger screen, more responsive. The nav is really nice. You can pinch and zoom this screen to see where you are.
Yeah, we talked about that in one of the videos. I think that that's something where people were so used to their smartphones, and these older versions, they worked great. They just, weren't quite as responsive as some of the smartphone technology out there. And now, I don't know, it might even be better. I mean, it's fantastic. They've done a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. Your heated seat buttons are here. You can see that they updated this entire area, so it just makes a little more sense with the layout.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
What do you got there? Couple buttons.
Yeah, so this is your parking sensors in the rear that'll turn them off. You'll also have, this is your traction control button here. And I really couldn't tell you what that mode is.
Yeah, let's learn what the mode button is, because I don't know what it is.
Figure out what that exactly is here.
Since we don't have the source book, it is
drive
mode.
modes. Yes.
I was assuming it was
so
drive
that'll
modes.
come up on here. We don't really see that button too often. It's usually a turn dial, but eco mode, you've got slippery mode, mud rut mode, and tow haul mode. So those are some modes that will control your throttle response, so that your vehicle knows what kind of conditions you're driving in.
Well, and I wonder if it makes any change to the all-wheel drive or not. We'll have to research that and see exactly what it's controlling, because now this is the first time ever.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just learning about this. This is as fresh as it gets. So yeah, we'll do a little research there and see if the drive modes actually maybe it could do some type of locker or full-time all-wheel drive on the new all-wheel drive system.
Yeah.
All right, let's. Why don't we go ahead and open up the back?
Sure.
All right, cool.
Real quick, before we jump out, look what I found. Not only do we have a USB and a 12 volt here, but right above the driver area, there's some storage here, but you also have another 12 volt and USB here.
Check that out.
That's cool.
And the storage. I mean, and I know that, I have several contractor friends, electricians and everything that are driving these things, and that's, I think, an if you want to call it, discussed feature, not only on the dash, but back here.
So much storage up here.
They talk about all the time, because these guys are traveling with like files and different little parts they may have. And
totally.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. Extra cup holders here too. This is new. These cup holders on either side and down here.
Got to have beverages.
Absolutely.
All right. Open up the back here. Have you meet me around this side. Check out those LEDs. Holy moly. And I got to remember, I haven't been inside a ton of the Transits in the past year. I mean, were they that bright before? I mean, that's amazing.
They've been pretty bright. Lighting's been good in Transits for a while.
That's fantastic.
But that's a really inexpensive add to a Transit. I think it's a couple $100, and it makes a world of difference, especially when you're in and out of this dark compartment all day, for sure.
Well worth pointing out, because that lighting is that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then before I forget, because I heard somebody mention it, so that crew bench, that's a new option, which is incredible.
Yeah.
A ton of people, including my brother, were putting up walls, which now you can get a wall in a Transit from the factory, right?
A bulkhead.
Bulkhead.
So the bulkhead is normally put behind these seats here to protect the driver and passenger from anything that might fall off of the wall or be back here when they're in a hard stop situation from coming forward. It's a protection. A lot of times we'd have to add those after the fact. Ford's allowing you to order them with a Transit now, and they're doing them at the factory.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. He was looking it up, and it's I think you can still get the standard bulkhead that might be metal, but he was talking about how this one you can get like that composite wall. I mean that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
This roof height, tell me about the configurations.
This is a medium roof. So there's 3 roofs available in the Transit. You'll have a low roof, which you'll have to crouch down to be able to get inside of it. But this one, I'm 5'7", and I have a decent amount of space between me and the roof here.
I'll go ahead and
I think
get up
to about almost 6 foot tall you can stand in here.
I am 5'10", and I can
So there you
stand
go.
up no
Yeah.
problem. I'm just barely almost to those cross rails, but I mean that's huge.
Yeah.
And this is only the medium.
Yep. So the high roof will give you an extra, I want to say like another foot there.
Wow.
Those tend to be a little pricier for sure.
Yep.
But it also allows you a lot more storage area.
It's
on the
not. It's
walls
not
and
for
stuff,
everybody.
too.
I mean, special use. I mean, I could tell you right now. I think that those electricians I was talking about, I think they all have medium, and it works just fine for them. One of them has the low roof, and he
Yep.
said it's plenty. So I think it just caters to what anybody needs, really. You know, what
Right.
that specific use is for.
And you
so.
can still get in and out of a lot of places with the medium roof. The high roof tends to restrict you a little bit.
Yep.
Medium
That's
roof
a great-
is
that's a great
definitely
point.
our most popular
Makes sense, like that
configuration,
perfect
for sure.
median on everything. And then that's a really good point. You're talking about pulling in places. And then, I mean, obviously a wind factor. I mean, lower roof, it's going to drive better down the road if you have a
Sure.
crosswind or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, all things to consider when whether you're ordering or whether you're picking one up. Why don't you show the rear doors? Because I know a
Yeah.
lot of people have asked about the rear doors, and I think we pointed it out on one of the videos when the Transit first came out about how they open.
Yeah, so you've got a lock here that you can unlock, and that'll unlock it from this support here. Bring it all the way around, and then down here is a magnet actually,
Okay.
and it'll attach itself.
Hey, I was gonna say we're gonna test it here. We have the other door open, so you can
Yeah,
you can have the slider open and open the rear door all the way.
And there's a good
it's-
probably 3 inches
see
between
if
the
I
two.
can get that. Yeah, check that out, and then you can see. I'll try to zoom in on it there for you. You can see how that door butted up to that little magnet right there.
Yeah, and it's pretty strong magnet. What that's for is if you don't want the wind to catch this and slam shut on somebody that's working back here.
Absolutely.
So that's a nice safety feature also.
Yep.
So both doors do it.
Look at how huge the opening is. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's cargo or I guess if you had it all set up with bins and racks or whatever. I mean, it's massive.
Yeah.
And this is just the medium.
Yep.
You know, so
Exactly.
it could be even taller.
Yep, and
then,
you've got this load protection here. You also have the upgraded vinyl flooring.
I noticed that when we were in there. I mean, that's a hell of a floor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic. So standard would just come with just metal floor. You finish it whatever way
It
you
would
want.
look kind of like the bed of a truck before a bed liner
Okay.
gets put in there. This is a really inexpensive add to a build. They also offer, I noticed on the order guide, an HD flooring. So it'll probably be a little bit tougher than just the vinyl. So
Awesome.
if you're dragging stuff along the floor, that
Yep.
might be a good option.
And then I think I'm seeing a camera up here.
Yeah,
Is that
the
right?
high mount camera. They
Nice.
added that. I think it was in 17. They switched the camera to the top there underneath the brake light,
That
which
is
is really
great.
nice. It gives you a nice eagle eye view of what's going back here.
Heck yeah.
Tow package.
I was gonna say,
too.
including probably if you're hooking a trailer up and you're trying to line up, right?
Yep.
I mean, you got a class 3 hitch. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen a ton of people tow with these. I'm assuming it has decent towing capability.
It does. It's definitely not as equipped as your Super Duty, for example,
Right, going into
or an
trucks.
F-150. But max tow on something like this with the new diesel engine that's coming out will top out at about 7,500 pounds.
Oh, that's a good number.
It's
solid.
great, but this one specifically with the all-wheel drive capability takes a couple 100 pounds away from this typical configuration would give you 5,000 pounds of
And I
towing
think most
capacity.
people would expect that, just like anything.
Yeah.
And then one more thing, I believe, am I seeing a button there? That
Yes, so
turn-
this is your
turn-
lights.
Look at that. So if you're accessing
you've got access
the
to
rear,
it.
that's awesome. You can shut them off. Fantastic. I think that's a pretty darn good overview, Emily. I really appreciate it. So,
Absolutely.
today we were looking at the 2020 Transit all-wheel drive here at Lasco Ford. We appreciate you guys taking the time to walk around it with us. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Leave comments below. Any questions you may have. We're going to be digging into these more and more as they arrive, and we'll get you guys all further details and do some more videos on more options and configurations that we have coming in. So, thanks for watching. Have a great day.